Hey you! Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. A podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives. For a good reason. To make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz. And every week, I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people, just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? This episode is brought to you by finallythebride.com. If you didn't know, I am getting married this year, but the problem is I am the worst at making decisions. I've been to so many weddings on my own. I need your help. Finally the Bride is a project I launched a couple of months ago after getting engaged, where strangers can come on the website and vote on all different things. There are new polls released on the first of the month, and the cool thing is I am writing about the entire experience, so you can check out how things are unfolding. I release a new chapter of the book every single month, so head to the website, vote your heart away, and sign up to get the book. It drops in your inbox on the 15th of the month with a new chapter inside. Finallythebride.com. Help me plan this wedding, especially because in 2020, everything's gotten weird. Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz, back with another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. Hey, happy holidays to you. No matter what you celebrate, how you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate at all, I'm just saying happy December and hope that this month is your month. Even though it's the last month, why not just make it your month? Here's something I'm doing to make it my month. I'm doing something really hard. Earlier this month, I saw on Instagram that this yoga teacher I followed, who I've always loved, and I used to love going to her classes last year, was doing a December challenge where you can do 3 classes a week with her every week until the end of December. It'd be 15 yoga classes in 1 month. I almost didn't sign up because the last time I had done yoga was sometime in 2019. So my body, I probably couldn't even stretch it if I tried. The idea of doing a downward dog, a child's pose, a chair pose, it made my skin crawl. But I also thought that if I signed up for this challenge, it could be my one thing that would help me prove to myself that I was strong, that I could do hard things, that I could just focus on one positive mind-clearing thing in the month of December. So I signed up, and I'm about 3 weeks into it so far. In the first week, yes, of course, I regretted it. I can't touch my toes. I could never touch my toes, but I could hardly touch my knees the first week. That's how not flexible my body was feeling. But even now, it's still challenging, it's still hard, but it's been a really cool thing to keep up with. It's also been a cool thing of just having something every week in the month of December to keep me evolving and changing and focusing and growing and feeling strong. So that was a gift that I got myself during the month of December. You can call it a holiday gift, you can call it a personal gift, but it was something that I spent money on as a nice thing for me to have and to do this month. The other day, Adam asked me what the best gift I ever got for Hanukkah was. I never celebrated Christmas, so I met Adam. I celebrated Hanukkah my whole life, and he asked me what the best gift I ever got was. And I thought about it, and the number one gift that I was so happy I got was a Razor scooter from Sharper Image. I wanted this so badly, and I remember my mom got it for me, and she got me the red one, but I did not like the color red, so I made her go all the way back to Sharper Image and get me the green one. And I loved this scooter for so long. I think I used this scooter even years later when I was like outgrowing it. I think I used it when I was a freshman in college, and I was clearly too tall, too big for this scooter. There's a 90% chance we still have the scooter, even though my parents have moved several times. I always made sure they moved with this scooter. I loved it dearly. And I think I loved it because it gave me a sense of freedom, in the sense that back then I didn't have a car, I couldn't drive, I could, had a bike, but I wasn't a big biker. It was just a cool way of getting around, seeing the neighborhood, and I loved it. So that was my favorite gift. I don't think any gift could ever top that. And if you ever had a Razor scooter of your own, send me a DM. Let me know how you loved it, if you loved it. And if you never had a Razor scooter, what was your favorite gift you ever got growing up? Would love to learn more. Send me a DM on Instagram at Jen Glantz, eager to know it. Okay, so this episode today is about a challenge that I did during the month of November that's also come over to the month of December. Early in the month of November, I thought about why I started this podcast. And I started You're Not Getting Any Younger over Thanksgiving a couple of years ago when life was in the dumpster for me. I was feeling really down, really out of it, really annoyed with myself. And I started this podcast as a reminder, as a way to keep improving my life and to keep reminding me and other people that we're not alone even when we feel lost. But what are ways that we all can improve our lives? So I started the podcast, I started the community. And it hits me every year around the holiday season how rough and tough and lonely these months can be. And also with the pandemic happening, everything just feels even more lonely and even more chaotic and upsetting. So early in November, I thought about it like this. Because a lot of us are not seeing family or friends, and we're spending this holiday season like we've spent the year, which is by ourselves, practically staring at the wall. Maybe I could do something to spend it with people. So earlier in November, around Thanksgiving, I posted something in my Monday email. I posted something on my social media inviting strangers to have a virtual coffee chat with me. And I wanted to talk to as many people as possible. So I limited the chats to 20 minutes. And I opened up a calendar and I had all of the times for the chats available for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving, and Friday. I had about 20 slots open. And I sent it out and I thought, okay, who wants to have coffee with me? Maybe nobody, maybe 20 people, we'll see. And over the next couple of days, all 20 spots booked up. And I ended up spending the week of Thanksgiving with complete strangers on these virtual coffee chats. And I want to talk about what I experienced, how it went, why I did it, and how maybe you can transfer some of this into your life during a really lonely holiday season. So once I had these on the calendar, of course, I regretted it. I wondered if it's going to be awkward. I wondered what we were going to talk about. I wondered if I made a mistake because I was now committing to spending Thanksgiving with people I hardly knew. And that frightened me because I thought, okay, who's going to come on this call? What are we going to talk about? Are they going to think I'm weird? Am I going to be weird? I started to panic and I thought about canceling. I thought about calling it off. I thought about coming up with some excuse, but instead, I just did it. So here's what happened when I did these chats. The very first thing that happened was people would come on, and usually everyone had something they wanted to talk about. So very quickly, it went from, oh, where are you located? Or how's the weather? To let's just dive into that deep, real stuff. On a lot of the calls, we talked about people's year, people's life, what's making them happy, what's not making them happy. One person told me about getting laid off and how they've spent every waking moment since March panicking about that and how it's been so daunting and hard for them. Other people told me about things that they haven't had the courage to tell their family or friends. They used our 20 minutes together to talk to a stranger and unload, and that was a beautiful experience. I don't know about you, but I really do believe that everybody has something crawling in their life that they don't have anyone to share it with. Because sometimes you can't tell a best friend or a spouse or a family member about it because you don't want a reaction, you just want to talk about it. And of course, the people who love you and know you, they're going to react. They might give you pity, they might give you advice, but sometimes you don't want any of that. You almost want to tell your secret, tell your struggle, and then walk away. And I know I personally find comfort in doing that to others. I used to sit on benches and meet strangers and tell them my deepest, darkest feelings, and I felt so incredible, so uplifted just doing that. So a lot of people did that too during our time. And there were tears, there was emotion, there was joy. I had one person tell me that they're so impressed with the person they become this year, they never thought they would be saying that. So there was a lot of different conversations that were had, but none of them, out of the 20 I had during that week, none of them were awkward, none of them were basic, none of them were, get to know you questions. Every single one of them was like, let's spend this 20 minutes and let's get deep. And I think that was the benefit of having a time limit, is that people skipped the water cooler questions and were like, Jen, here's everything. I'm just like dropping it down into you, telling you all of this. Let's figure it out. Let's talk. Let's just deal with it. So there were 3 main things that happened during these calls. Number 1, the art of listening. And for the past year, I haven't really had that many interactions with people, probably just like you. The only person I talk to every day is my parents and also Adam, and that's it. And we hardly have like these real long conversations. So I forgot almost how to be in conversation with people, and doing this challenge helped with that. It helped me learn how to listen. It helped me learn how to forget my agenda of follow-up questions. It helped me learn how to just be present. And there was beauty in that, because it made the conversations flow a lot better when you didn't know what you were going to say next. And sometimes you just said, wow, that sucks. There was beauty in learning how to listen, learning how to have a ping pong of a conversation. The next is that it allowed me personally, and maybe the other people as well, to be able to just get a new sense of energy in the day. Nobody right now feels perfect, feels great, feels happy about their 2020, but sometimes talking to a new person gives you a surge of energy that you only get from welcoming somebody new into your life. And that was really awesome as well, was just leaving these calls with this energy. I felt like I had just had 4 shots of espresso. I mean, on Thanksgiving, I spent the whole morning, whole afternoon, up until dinner time, really talking to strangers. And when it was over, I felt like I was beaming with energy just from all of these new people. So that was awesome. And finally, I felt like it brought a lot of joy and happiness. I noticed that after all of these conversations, even if they were really deep, really emotional, there was a new sense of joy that comes when you welcome new people into your life. This contagious sense of energy that one good talk can change everything for a person and can change it for you. During these conversations, sometimes I was the advice giver. Sometimes the person was giving me advice. I filled up note pages of just new things I learned, whether it was just tips or tricks or facts or just things about people that I learned during these conversations. And I felt like my time was better spent doing this than binging a show on Netflix. So what I ask, and by the way, I've extended this. I've done them almost every Friday in December. I released handfuls of new times to have more coffee chats with strangers. So for the whole month of December, every Friday afternoon, my schedule is completely open to these coffee chats, and all of the times I've booked up, I'm trying to release more. So make sure you join the Monday newsletter so that you can get first access. But I'm keeping these up because a lot of the strangers I met just brought this whole sense of spark and joy into my life. And hopefully I did that for them just even during these 20 minutes. So how can you take these lessons to your life? I challenge you to ask somebody to do a virtual coffee with you. Since I've done this, a couple people I had coffee with said that they posted on their social media, anyone want to have virtual coffee with me? And they've gotten people to talk to them doing something similar to this. So maybe you can do something like that. Or maybe you can ask a friend to hop on for a virtual coffee or just hang out with you, because it will be good for you during a very lonely time to engage in the company of somebody else, even if you hardly know them. Will it feel awkward at first? Yes, of course. But will you regret it? No, I don't think so. So I challenge you to think about yourself. Push yourself out of that comfort zone. Push yourself out of these boundaries and say yes to having coffee with a stranger or a friend or somebody from social media this month virtually. I just want to thank all of the people who have had coffee virtually with me in November and December. You are single-handedly some of the greatest moments I've had in 2020. Until next time, all my love and happy holidays from me to you, Jen Glantz. Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.